Hey guys, welcome back. In the last lecture, we wrote controller specs for handling the validation errors into the form. Okay, and we did it for create action. Now, in this lecture, we will write specs for the patch action. I mean, the patch HTTP verb and for update action. And we will write the same specs that we used for creating a new user. Okay, why? Because creating a user and updating an existing user is almost the same kind of process, where in create we save a new record into the database, and with update we update an existing record or save the updated information for an existing record into the database. So we will use the same specs. However, if you wish, you can try with different dimensions as well. Okay, so to test that, what we need to do first, you need to copy the describe block, same as the post create for patch update. Okay, so what we can do here, just to go above that, and here just remove post create by patch update. Update. Okay, and we know that we have before action authentication, so we need this user to get signed in into the system first, then only we can perform any kind of operation. So we created a user here using let block, and then we used this user to get signed in into the system. Now with create, we know that we don't need id of the user because we are creating a new user, but with update action we need the id of existing user, then only we can perform update operation on it, because first we will or find or fetch that user from the database first, then we can only perform the update operation. Okay, so what we need to do here, we will create a few more users or couple of more users here. So you can use like let's say let user 1 and let user 2. Okay, and then we will use these users id to update the user. Okay, and for update, in the post you can see that we used post and create. Okay, that is, post is the http verb for the action, and create is the action name that we want to test into our it blocks. Okay, so we need to do the similar thing for the patch update as well. So replace all these post create by patch update into the post, oh sorry, into the describe block for patch action. Okay, so patch and then update, copy this and then paste it here, and paste it here as well, and even in short, replace all the posts create by page update into the describe block for page action. Okay, so do here as well, do at line number 189 as well, and at the last do at line number 207 as well. Okay, and now check. Okay, we don't have any more it blocks for the patch action. Okay, now what we need to do as the one more thing, that you can see that we have this def user params method to prepare the parameters that we want to send on the controller action. We have the same method in the describe post block as well and describe patch block as well. So now we do not repeat that method, and we will use the define this method as the common place, and then we will use this in all the describe blocks or wherever we want to use that in the same controller spec. Okay, so let's come to the bottom of the spec file and define this user params method here, and then remove this user param method from the post create describe block as well. Okay, so reopen the 25 number line block and then remove this def params user method. Okay, so def user params method, sorry, save it. And now let's try to execute all the specs from the line number 118. Okay, so switch to the terminal, and in the terminal what you need to do here, the logs are running, and just run RSpec spec controller and then user controller spec.rb, and run this from line number 118. Okay, and you will see that all the specs for patch action will get failed. Okay, you can see 7 examples, 7 failures, and now if you run all the user specs, you will see 17 examples, 7 failures. That means all our previous specs were working fine, and but the specs for the patch action will get failed. Why? Because there is a correction that we need to do. Here you can see that we did everything right, like mentioning the action and its http verb and sending the user params, okay, to update that. But we forget to do one thing here, that we need to pass id along with the request url. Okay, because update action is a member action, and for member actions you need to provide the id of the user. Okay, so what we need to do here, just to provide the id, that is, let's say id user1 dot id. Okay, and then use the same thing for other spec it blocks as well. Okay, so what we can do here, user1 dot id, and then just do the same thing for turbo stream format as well, add the comma here. Okay, and now let's do something for id of user2. Okay, so we can do it here. Let's say id user2 dot id. Okay, just copy this, sorry, not copy this, add the comma here. Okay, and then copy this, copy and then paste it into the turbo stream request as well. And the comma, and here also, and the comma. And for this, if you wish, you can change the id of the user or user id here, user1 dot id, and add the comma at the last, and do the same thing for this last spec as well. Let's make it user1 dot id. Okay, now all specs are done, and switch to the terminal and run the specs from the line number 118. Just verify that your describe block for the patch action is started from the line number 118. Okay, so it started from line number 118. Now just switch to the terminal and run it. Okay, and this time your specs will get passed. Okay, that means 7 examples, 0 failures. And now if you run all the specs for this, you will see that 17 examples, 0 failures. So here you can see 17 examples, 0 failures, and here is the logs that are running. Okay, now, what we did in this, that we just created two more users for patch action, because the update action is the member action, and member action requires the ID of the resource. So we created this user one and user two here, and then we were sending ID of alternate users like user one and user two with different it blocks. Okay, so you can do the same thing at your end as well. So let's try that. And if you have any trouble or any question regarding this patch action or the patch update action specs, just let me know through the comment section, and I will be happy to help you. In the next lecture, we will write the controller specs for delete action as well, and then our controller specs will get over, and then we will switch to the request specs. Okay, so try this lecture at your end, and we will meet into the next lecture with delete specs. Till then, tata, goodbye, take care, and stay safe.